It is important to let you know that I have the highest respect and appreciation for the work of these professionals and what they do, and that I have known most of them for over 10 years. So I am honored to call them not only my colleagues, but also my dear friends. With us today, we're going to have Ana Maria Roca from Argentina, Clara Onatra from Colombia, Gabriela del Rosario Rodríguez del Águila from Peru, and Juana de Ayestas from Honduras. Each panelist will speak for 12 to 15 minutes, and when they conclude their presentations, we will have a moderated Q&A period. You may post your questions in the chat to everyone or directly to me throughout the presentations. I am going to ask everyone to please mute themselves during the presentations. And I am going to introduce now our first panelist for the day, Clara Onatra from Colombia, Universidad de La Sabana. Clara holds a BA in Spanish and English from Universidad Pedagógica Nacional, a TESOL diploma from Anaheim University, and an AMA in English language teaching for self-directed learning from Universidad de La Sabana in Colombia. She works as a professor and researcher at Universidad Libre in the BA in Foreign Languages program. Her pedagogical interests include ICT in education, research seedbeds, flipped learning, second language acquisition, autonomous learning, and self-direction, and she belongs to the research group Didácticos. So, my dear Clara, take it away. The mic is yours.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this wonderful panel. For me, it's a total pleasure. So, okay, so I'm going to get started. My talk is entitled Research Seedbeds in BA in Foreign Languages Programs in Colombia. Okay, so this is what my talk is going to be about. Okay, so my agenda is in relation to this. When did undergraduate research start? What's a seedbed? Seedbeds in Colombia, BA programs in foreign languages in Colombia, and research topics within languages seedbeds. Okay, so beginning of undergraduate research. So it all started at at Humboldt University in Berlin, Germany, okay? In there, we had the basics of rigorous undergraduate research processes in sciences as well as in arts. It was a model for other European universities. And we all know that Humboldt University is the house of many Nobel Prizes. Okay, so it all started there a long, long time ago. So now what's a seedbed? What does it refer to? So according to Collins Dictionary, it is an area of ground, usually with specially prepared earth, where young plants are grown from seed, as you can see here in the picture, right? In here, we have another definition, a plot of land in which seeds or seedlings are grown before being transplanted. And this is a concept that I like a lot, transplanted, because it refers to our students in the undergraduate programs. And when they pursue their graduate programs, they have that seed in there and they want to continue working on research, okay? The last definition that I have in here is when a particular type of thing or person will develop in that place or situation. So as we can see here, this is a synonym of growing and development. So this is awesome. Very good. Now, in relation to what scholars have said about it, so I can say that seedbeds are the space for cultivation of students and teachers' talents towards, by, and for research. And with this, it is possible to guarantee generational change and improve teaching, research, and social projection. So we know that professors at universities have like a time, like a cycle, and it's necessary to give a kind of legacy to our students, right? So that they can continue working on research. So this is what it refers about. So seedbeds stimulate and generate knowledge, which results into the improvement of scientific practices, and therefore the contexts where they are carried out are positively impacted. That's what I can see with my students' work. Now, another scholar, Molineros, says that seedbeds are learning communities characterized by their spontaneous origin, autonomous nature, and dynamic diversity. So its basic principles are focused on promoting a more investigative and holistic academic instruction, projecting a participatory education where the question is praised. So we can have many questions, no problem. And one learns to learn strengthens the ability to teamwork. That's why I have in here this video of these kids, because it's like team working together, right? Very good. Okay. Now, I dare to give my own definition, okay, about seedbeds. Research seedbeds are a space of learning, analysis, discussion, inquiry, and teamwork guided by a teacher that is an expert about a specific topic and passionate for a change in the context where the research work is being carried out, okay? So this is my own definition. I forgot to tell you that this is part of my doctoral thesis. So I'm working on this topic, and this is what I'm sharing with you, okay? Now, research seedbeds in Colombia, when did it all start? Well, the origin of seedbeds in Colombia is part of the generational renewal policy in the scenario of educational reforms that are led to the development of science and technology, okay? All right. So now the trajectory of research seedbeds in Colombia. So before 1980, so now like taking into account that it was for a university context, right? Okay, so curriculum was just per subjects, okay? And the work of research, let's say like for teachers, was very, very weak, okay? In the 80s, we had a decree that was saying like, okay, we have to give a place to research. So from there, research was part of the curriculum. And thesis was seen as a graduation requirement, and research by professors was getting stronger, okay? In the early 90s, we had the law 115. It was an educational reform, and research projects were connected to the teaching practicum. In the late 90s, research seedbeds are born. It was in 1996. We had also different curricular reforms, and there was a program called Young Researchers by Colciencias that nowadays is known as MinCiencias, like Ministry of Sciences. And there is a lot of, let's say, motivation for young researchers to be part of the call for proposals that they have in there. The new century, well, seedbeds associations. We have in here something that is called like Red Colombiana de Semilleros de Investigación, that is like a special network for seedbeds. Now, also there is like more strength on research groups and academic events. And at present, now we have interdisciplinary projects, high use of ICT tools, publications by undergraduate students. It's something that I want to highlight a lot, because in the past it wasn't possible, like to think like undergraduate students like having publications, impossible, but nowadays it is, although it is very hard, but it is possible. And research seedbeds events organized by the seedbeds per se. So this is a very brief history of research seedbeds in Colombia. Now, student skills within a research seedbed. Well, of course, teamwork, because as I was saying before, we are working as a group. It depends on the nature of the seedbed, but for example, in my case, we have a monthly meeting where we have the whole group and we work together and we check the advancements of each of the projects. Also, we have one weekly encounter with each of the projects, depending on the one that we are advising. And it's very important like to have that constant process. Public speaking, because our students present different events, minimum one event per semester. Academic writing, because they have to be ready with their graduation project, as well as publishing something apart from that. Responsibility, because they have to comply with certain deadlines, and leadership, because they are like working on innovations in education. Okay, Now, who are the actors within a research seedbed? Okay, in here we have students, professors, and institutions. I love this image because it has the colors of my Colombian flag. Okay, now there is a very interesting discussion in relation to undergraduate research versus rigorous research. There is an author, Restrepo, who highlights the undergraduate research as a learning space. However, the rigorous research carried out by professors is the one in charge of the scientific production, hence it gives identity to an institution. Well, it is very debatable because in a way it's kind of minimizing, let's say, the work that is done by the seedbeds, right? So the research that is carried out by the seedbeds is as rigorous as the one that is only done by professors, right? Why? Because that is being done by students is guided by a professor, okay? So if a professor that is an expert about a topic is guiding this, it's because it is something that is rigorous, okay? So this is a very interesting discussion, but we cannot say that the research that is done in seedbeds is less important or less rigorous than the ones that is done by professors, okay? Very good. Now, what about the BA programs in foreign languages in here in Colombia? Well, we have around 52 BA programs in foreign languages in Colombia. I cannot tell you how many seedbeds we have because in one program we can have 2, 3, 10, etc. I'm still working on that information, but what I can tell you is the topics within research seedbeds in languages programs. So for example, we have how to improve a certain skill, like for example, listening, writing, speaking, reading, okay, through different strategies, okay? Students with special educational needs, okay? ICT tools, woo, it's super trendy. And now because of the COVID-19, even more. Flip learning, it's very trendy too. Gamification, so students creating games for well, future teachers creating games for their students, and materials design, okay, like booklets, apps, for example, mobile apps. Also, another topic that we have in here is identity, interculturality, and emotional intelligence. So these are the topics that our students within seedbeds are researching on, okay, very good. And so my emphasis during this talk is like to give that importance of keeping the work with research seedbeds. For me, it would be very interesting to know if maybe in your countries you have a practice like this, okay? Because definitely it's like planting the research seed within our students. So that is fantastic. And well, I have students' voices, but the problem is that I have this in Spanish. I don't know if I can have just 1 minute of this. Let me know if you can listen. Can you? Yes?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Okay, so in here, just that you try to understand a couple of students.
Siendo parte de este semillero, he tenido la oportunidad de asistir a diferentes eventos, como el quinto encuentro de práctica docente en la Universidad Libre en el 2017, el First Research in ELT en el año 2018, el Third International and Ninth National Foreign Languages Research Congress en Montería, año 2018, el FlipTech Latin America 2019, la conferencia número 54 de ASOCOPI y el Research in ELT de este año 2020.
Tú quieres ser parte de los semilleros de investigación, yo hoy debo decirte tres cosas. Lo primero es que debes contar con un poco más de tiempo por ser una actividad extracurricular. Lo segundo es que debes estar dispuesto o dispuesta a tener en cuenta diferentes perspectivas de la educación y del rol docente que podrías llegar a generar en el futuro y así generar muchas mejoras o proponerlas. Por último, vas a tener el mejor acompañamiento, los mejores guías e incluso amigos en todo este proceso de tu formación como un docente e investigador.
Okay, just that. They were talking about how they felt being part of the seedbed, and the first girl was talking about the events that she has been participating, presenting the advancements of her project. Okay, very good. These are some of my references. And thank you so much. This is my email in case you want to contact me, and I'm here all ears to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. I think that your presentation was really interesting. I especially like the fact that research is such an interesting topic for us, and it has yet to be developed in Latin America. So it is important to see the efforts that you're already making in Colombia, and then see how we can learn from those best practices and replicate it in other countries. Thank you for that. So next, we will hear Juana de Ayestas from Honduras, from Zamorano University. Juana de Ayestas holds a TESOL degree from the National Pedagogical University. She is a U.S. Embassy accredited teacher trainer and a certified teacher of trainers since 2010. She has been in ELT since 2009 at the higher education level, and she has presented nationally and internationally at TESOL conventions and affiliate events. Currently, she's an English professor at Zamorano University and is also a member of the HELTA TESOL board. Thank you, Juanita, for accepting the invitation. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Thank you very much and welcome everybody. It's an honor for me to be sharing about my experience in this topic about multicultural classroom. Let me share my screen, please. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay. So,
Yes.
Hello, everybody, and happy Hispanic Heritage Month. I am, as Gracia Mendoza said, I am Juana de Ayestas. I'm happy to connect with you all. Hope we share a great learning time together. And today, we will discuss more about ELT in the multicultural agriculture classroom. So, yes, okay. Well, as part of my day-to-day, I participate or I practice the art of teaching and, in a multicultural environment through Zamorano University. Zamorano is located in Yaguare Valley in the province of Francisco Morazán in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. This is an agriculture university with 4 different agriculture academic programs: agribusiness, agronomic engineering, agroindustry, environment and development. Our students' population comes from 29 different countries and from different countries in Latin America that live on campus and have a learning dynamic because they work during the half of the day and the other half they study. Something very important that characterized Zamorano University is the fact to put together the pillars of academic excellence, learning by doing, character, formation, leadership, and Pan-Americanism. I totally believe that the students are the core of any educational process. In Zamorano, the students are trained in agricultural studies as undergraduate level, and as part of their academic program, they have to study or learn English as a foreign language with the purpose to achieve the learning outcomes such as communication, problem solving, ethic, critical thinking, use of technology, and awareness to the surrounding environment. The students come to Zamorano with different levels of English proficiency, and considering this, they are instructed to continue learning to reach a higher level as possible. According to, according to a Word Reference Dictionary, multiculturalism refers to the relating to different cultures or cultural elements. Multiculturalism provides scenarios of global issues and allows to get information from students that come from different cultural backgrounds. This creates a cultural and academic environment. But how does multiculturalism enrich our teaching process? Well, in my practice, my everyday practice, sorry, something is wrong here. Okay. Teaching practice is developed under a student-centered class to provide students the opportunity to experience the construction of their own learning and making it meaningful. In this scenario, the planning incorporates agricultural topics to be presented in English, and they have the chance to talk about their country's agriculture, cultural practices, challenges, and new practices. On the other hand, the teaching strategies could be the same as we can implement in a regular class. The difference in this case is that every activity that has a cultural component linked with the language and the new academic learning. Into these teaching strategies, we have, or I practice with my students, oral presentations, group work, circle talk, video presentations, panels, debate, roundtables, discussions, and with writing, we practice journal, essays, and reading and listening discussions. A multicultural classroom brings some advantages for students as well for teachers, such as diversity. Diversity can be promoted. Equal opportunity of learning without discrimination of race, color, gender, or social economic status or nationality. We can develop a dynamic process, and we have the socialization. With this activity, or with this part, promotes a cultural learning from each other, and this learning is not just from student to student, but also student, and students teacher, okay? And as equally important is the advantage to develop a culturally responsive attitude. So, through a multicultural classroom, I practice in Zamorano University, we have the opportunity to have a content integration, classroom strategies, equity, empowering in this important aspect, empowering about the roots and pride, their identity and culture is something that the students already have once we are in a multicultural classroom, and also the development of critical thinking, because the students can contextualize the content information and add the cultural element to enrich and increase their learning. In addition, they can develop different perspectives towards learning topics. Through a multicultural classroom, we can develop cultural literacy, cultural awareness, values, and in this important component of a multicultural classroom, teacher and students practice respect, tolerance, identity, empathy, equality, interaction through communication, and friendship. And this term, friendship, is a term that for my students has the meaning of family, because once they leave from their countries and come to Zamorano, what they find is a family among their classmates and their teachers. But I would like to talk a little bit about some considerations that are important to keep in mind once we are on this scenario, a multicultural classroom, that it is encourage the students to learn a second language without losing their identity. Let the students to share their real life cultural experiences, respect the students' cultural differences, take advantage of each student culture to learn, and provide positive feedback to promote academic access. A multicultural classroom becomes a challenge with every group student group, sorry, and every year, but it works. The learning experience that takes the students and teacher to a new place. And at the end, I just want to finish saying that into a multicultural setting or classroom, we all smile in the same language. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Juanita, for your presentation. I think it is important to highlight that even though you are teaching in Zamorano, where all learners speak Spanish, there's a rich array of indigenous language that come into the classroom because they come from different parts of Latin America where different indigenous languages are spoken. Thus, that multicultural and enriching a context where you are teaching. And it is definitely something that impacts the work in our field. So thank you for your presentation and thank you for sharing this with us. Next, we're going to hear from Gabriela del Rosario Rodriguez del Águila from Peru, from the consultancy Asesoría Educativa A1, sorry. Gabriela is a passionate teacher and trainer, committed to contributing to a better education in the world. She finished her TEFL and holds an international certification from Cambridge and Michigan universities. She has worked as an English professor in Peruvian universities, as a coach, an ELT consultant for educational publishers. She's an international speaker, making the audience aware about the importance of helping others. She's the founder and director of Asesoría Educativa A1, a consulting and training company of English teachers worldwide. Her interests are mental health, special needs education, and parent supporting. She's the president of a nonprofit association called Alvaro, a volunteering initiative to support teenagers and people with mental health issues. And she is currently helping people with special needs, education, and working as a private tutor for kids in English and Spanish. My dear Gabriela, the floor is yours. Take it away.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the invitation. I'm so happy to be with you. I'm proud of what you guys have achieved. It's a big achievement that we have, connecting different countries in one world, provide a better education for everybody and give opportunities for everyone. Well, as you know, now I'm here in the States and I'm attending different schools, and I can observe this situation of multicultural students and inclusive education close to me. As the other representative said, Anita, she said that it's not only that it's for different countries. It means different languages, different customs. In Peru, for example, I have a student from different cities and I have to learn about the culture. Okay, here is what I prepared for you. Just something small. This some quotes important about inclusive education. Every child has the right to quality education and learning. And in this point, I would like to share with you that in my experience in Peru and here, I can see that sometimes parents, I know we love everything for our kids, but sometimes we are not like very informed about the benefits that are sending your kids to school, even if it has some disabilities. This is a great opportunity to socialize, to develop different skills, soft skills, and hard skills too. And the other is disability is one of the most serious barriers to education across the globe. Okay, yeah. So in our position as parents, our position as community, as citizens, as teachers, guides, coaches, don't put any more barriers in education. The education is for everybody. What else? Inclusive education allows students to all backgrounds to learn and grow side by side to benefit all of all. In diversity, there is beauty and there is strength. We are here, we are stronger because we have the chance to face different contests according to our students. And this is one of my favorites. When I see you through my eyes, I think we are different. When I see you through my heart, I know we are so beautiful, okay? So the physical aspect is like a mask. Inside, we're all the same. We want the same, we want to grow, we want to learn, we want to be happy. Okay? So at that point, well, do you have multicultural students? And what is the answer? I guess all the teachers have this opportunity. Yes, okay. And maybe I teach in Trujillo City. I don't have multicultural students because my students are from here. There are multicultural students. Okay, I was a professor at university in Trujillo, where I am from, and I have students from different cities of the country. And I remember I have a student who had a wheelchair, and I have to help him to put him in that chair. And he started speaking English a lot. Okay, he could do it very well. We were so proud of him. I still remember, he's a professional now. Okay, so yes, it's not a barrier, it's full of advantages being cultural.
Gabby?
Yes?
We are having a little bit of trouble hearing you because we hear some background noise.
Yeah, I know because I have the Starbucks. Well, I will try closer. A moment, please. Okay, sorry, I am in Starbucks. I asked these nice people to give me. Okay, can you hear me now? Gracias.
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit better.
Okay, let's keep going. Okay, what else? Well, the curriculum that is prepared for the multicultural classes, multicultural students, embraces the need to advance and advocate educational equity for all the students of every age. And today I am here attending to school in the States. I observe in classes, and I saw that some kids don't want to be with the kids with disabilities, and that worries me a lot. So I think that teachers, there is still need of training teachers to deal with these situations. Even here in the States, there is a need, a huge need of training teachers for diverse classes, okay? Everybody is welcome, more learning opportunities, the benefits, values our students' identities. In the school that I go, I can tell you that about 60 or 70% of the students speak Portuguese. Some of them don't speak any word of Spanish, or sorry, of English. And the girl that I observe is like, speaks English, Spanish, and she got Portuguese. Okay, so this is very good because we are learning from there. We are learning from their culture, their stories. Promotes community growth, increases positive relationships, and reduces stereotype and prejudice. Okay, I saw this. You can get these posters in Amazon, wherever you are, but it's very beautiful to put in your classroom. Celebrate our differences, we respect others, we are all connected, we learn about our other cultures, and we make the world a better place. Okay, so this is accepting everybody here. There is a lot of work if you ever had a student with special needs. I remember that I have one student with visual impairment, and I have to do the exams of the test, big letters. I read that in India, there are some schools that are using Braille, okay, even in the regular classes for some students. And so there are an estimate of 93 million children worldwide with disability. And it's also considered a student with disability someone who doesn't speak the language of classes. There is a guy, a little kid who only speaks Portuguese in the class, and he cries because he can't understand the teacher, and the teacher got somebody else, another kid that translates everything. Can you imagine that your student crying because he doesn't understand what you are saying, and the teacher doesn't speak Portuguese? So this is an effort that we have to do to communicate. And she found a way that another student translates and he can understand. Okay, here are some ways that we can cope. This is not a challenge, this is from UNICEF. You can find it here. I have the link. You want to find it. Okay, for visual impairments, you have some strategies that you can choose. I'm not going to explain the one, but you can take up print screen if you want to read. Some representation analyzes the impact of disability in order to facilitate learning. Okay. Materials, background knowledge, use the student's background knowledge, and many more things that we all using. Other like strategies on multiple use of art and expression. How can we let our students express themselves? Maybe this kid can speak like the language, but he started writing some words, he can paint, he can communicate, interact, giving them opportunities for discussion in class, report back, opportunity to demonstrate knowledge in visual and artistic formats, use drama, body movements, or music, providing time for students to construct responses, and many more ideas. So there are many tools. We need to start reading, we need to investigate, and apply. If something doesn't work, we try another. Never give up when we are facing this education. In Peru, it's like mandatory that all the teachers at least has 2 inclusive students in the classroom. And we don't call them anymore special students. He says, no, because we are all special. They are students with special needs education. Okay, I would like to share this video. Hope you can listen to it. To finish my presentation, I'm going to show this video. Can you hear the video?
Yes, we can hear it well.
Yes.
Then if you get 4 in a row, you win, and the game is over.
Can it be this way or this way?
Either way, or this way too. I forget the word for that.
So do I. I think it's diagonal or something like that.
Have you ever noticed how none of the people you know look exactly alike? Well, sure, there are identical twins. Maybe you know some, but for the most part, we all look and sound different from each other. Look around you. Does anyone near you have exactly the same nose or chin or hair? Everyone sounds different too. Think about it. No one has the same talking voice as someone else. Nobody giggles or laughs just like you. Well, do they? Did you say no? You're right. Meet Will and David. They're good friends, and they have a lot in common. They're both about your age. They live in the same neighborhood, and they go to the same school. In fact, this year they're both in Miss Logan's class. Will and David like to watch football games. They like to build things and tell jokes, but they don't look or sound alike, do they?
That's 1 game for you and 1 game for me.
We're tied.
Mom, do we have time to play it again?
Sorry, boys, we need to make it to the market. I have to get a few things for dinner, and I promised David's mother I'd have him home before dark. Tomorrow's Friday. If you want, you can come back then. I bet you they'll give you plenty of time for you guys to break that tie. And if you want, you could even stay overnight. Should we ask your mom?
Yes, that'd be great. Do you think it would be okay with your mom?
So do I.
Did you see that? That's called a curb cut. They come in handy, don't they? Do you have curb cuts in your neighborhood? A bicycle, a skateboard, how about a baby carriage? What else did you think about? Oh, a shopping cart and a wheelchair.
So we don't have a lot of time today, so we're going to try to get these things really quickly. I need you two to find me tortilla chips, but stay together.
I know right where those are. So do I.
Doing very well. How are you doing? Good, good. So what have you been up to?
Will's mom and Paula both had some shopping to do today. I just heard Paula say that she is going to the boys' school tomorrow. Mrs. Logan, their teacher, has invited her to be the guest for Visitor Day. Mrs. Logan's class has been learning a lot about diversity. That's a big word. Do you know what diversity means? Diversity means difference. Did you notice that Paula sounds different? The way she walks is different too. That's because she has cerebral palsy. Paula is going to help the class understand what it's like to have cerebral palsy.
David.
Yeah. He already has.
Do you know anyone who has a disability?
What do you already know about diversity? Yes.
People are different.
How are people different?
People look different and they come from different places.
They look different.
Some people can do things other people can't do.
They can do different things. Talking to Miss Paula about our word of the week, about diversity and differences, and about how we are all smart in different ways, and how we are from different cultures, and how we speak different languages. Even in our own class, we have lots of diversity. And let's all welcome Miss Paula.
Your teacher, Miss Logan, was telling me that you're talking about diversity. Well, diversity is very important, and I'm an expert on diversity. I am different. I have a cerebral palsy. I am going to try to answer the questions that you have. But first, I have a question for you. What is it like to run fast? Well, that must have been a harder question. You know, I don't run fast because of my leg, because of my disability. But you should see me on my computer. I'm writing a book. Diversity is great. There's something different about each one of us, and that will make us important. I'm married, and I have a job. But most importantly, I get to go around the community and teach kids like you about diversity, about people with disability, and what that means. Now I have a question, and I want you to respond. So do I. I have a question.
So do I!
I want people to ask me questions.
So do I!
I want to learn.
So do I!
Sometimes questions are hard to answer, but I always try my best.
Thank you, Miss Paula, for joining us today.
You're so welcome.
Okay, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, so that is a nice way to teach diversity in class. And I'm gonna share the link with you here. If you wanna see the whole video. And you can try to do that in your class. It's very good. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry for the inconvenience.
No worries.
Some external things get out of our control.
Yeah.
What is under my control is my will to share and to learn from you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. Thank you very much for highlighting a lot of interesting information, a lot of resources, and for giving an example of what it means to embrace diversity and bring it into our classrooms. Our final speaker is Ana Maria Roca from Argentina, Universidad de Buenos Aires. Ana Maria is a public translator of English. She received her diploma superior in social sciences at Flaxo en Universidad Autónoma de Madrid. She's a researcher and teacher of English who has been working as an EAP teacher at the School of Philosophy and Letters, Universidad de Buenos Aires, Argentina, and as an EFL teacher at the University Extension Secretariat, Universidad de Buenos Aires, where she has been teaching a special EFL program for adults. She held the position of school principal at 2 state schools for adults in Buenos Aires. Her research work focuses on reading comprehension and adult education. She has served Argentina TESOL, a TESOL affiliate, since 2000, holding different positions on the board. She has been a member of the committee for both our TESOL ESP and EFL journals since 1999. And she also served as at the TESOL affiliate network professional council from March 2014 to October 2018. Welcome, Ana Maria. The floor is yours. I'm going to start sharing your presentation so that you can share all the wonderful information you have prepared for us.
Thanks, Grazia. And first of all, I would like to thank you and TESOL for inviting me to be part of this panel, which is really awesome. I'm very sorry about the problems that I have with connectivity today, but fortunately I could manage doing this through my cell phone. So I'm going to ask you that in case we have any problems, please let me know. Today, can you hear me well?
We can hear you very well.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm going to speak about intercultural dialogue and identity in the ELT class for adults in Argentina. The task of TESOL adult educators is to foster their students' communicative dialogue in different aspects, public, personal, and professional. TESOL teachers in different aspects have a special role because they are the mediators between culture and the student. Why? Well, because every new language brings its own implicit culture that will interact with the student's social, linguistic, and cultural background. At the European Commission in Brussels in March 2002, José María Gil Robles, members of the European Parliament, stated that culture essentially is interchange and dialogue, that it is mutual enrichment that allows us to live and grow in the different cultural manifestations. Now, we all know that it is not easy to open the door to an open language and its culture because all that is considered foreign is frequently perceived as a barrier rather than as a challenge to our identity. Teachers teach a foreign language to meet communication needs, considering foreign language teaching as an approach to other cultures, and as a new way of understanding reality with a critical and reflective view. So it is important to know that TESOL educators use the language as a tool to allow for an intercultural dialogue between the student's own identity and that of a new culture. In this respect, Huber and Reynolds explain that the term identity denotes a person's sense of who they are and the soft descriptions to which they attribute significance and value. They speak about 3 types of identity. Personal identity is that identity that is based on personal attributes, interpersonal relationships, and autobiographical narratives. Then social identity is the identity based on social groups. And then cultural identity, which is the identity based on memberships of cultural groups. Now, TESOL adult teachers are conscious of their own identity and of that of the students. And we know that diversity is embedded in identity. In Argentina, this diversity not only responds to students and teachers' different environments, social environments, but also to different nationalities, since our country is inhabited by European, Asian, and border country immigrants. And English is taught with different purposes and in different contexts in Argentina. One of these contexts is adult EFL teaching. Specifically, it is in this context that TESOL teachers face different challenges about curricular and pedagogical implementation, resources, or even sometimes and many times cultural resistance. At the University of Buenos Aires, longer than 30 years ago, a special program for older adults was created. The main objective of this program is to respond to the learning needs of the English language of the adult population that attends the different courses. And they do this through a selection of competencies that are focused on cultural content. This curricular conception is focused on the needs of a dialogue between cultures in a diverse society. In general, the older adults who attend the courses have their family living in English-speaking countries, or they like the language, so they want to practice it, or they like to travel. So the purpose of these EFL courses is to get the adult student develop autonomous learning of the English language. That is the capacity for reflection and self-determination about the learning process itself, but always prioritizing the student's effective communication. Now, let me tell you that one of the main challenges teachers face in these courses is that of acceptance of the other, the acceptance of what is different. Why? Because to accept different things or difference is not always easy for adults. And we saw this recently. Last year, when teachers started teaching their classes online, there were many conflicts with adult students. Why? Because they were used to attending classes, face-to-face classes, and of interacting with their peers. Now they were faced to technology, sometimes known by some of them, and some other times totally unknown. So they needed help from the family, or from friends. So considering that the 4 pillars of education for the future are learning to know, learning to learn, learning to be, and learning to live together in diverse society, this program for older adults at the university is focused not only on EFL teaching, but also on offering the adult students the possibility of sharing their life experiences and create interpersonal links through the acceptance of the other, through the acceptance of what is different. This is particularly important since the social communication space provided by the program has shown itself relevant for their personal lives. Scarcely ever do we teachers teach homogeneous groups in this program. Groups may differ not only in their professional background, but most probably in their command of the English language, in the sense that although they have to take a placement test before attending the course, their skills regarding listening comprehension, reading comprehension, or writing differ. But however, most importantly still is the fact that the groups differ in their life history. And this characteristic specifically sometimes gives way to problems of acceptance of a new culture, be it that implicit in the new language or that of a student's cultural identity. So if we consider that we have to learn when we get involved in activities that will help us not only understand what is happening, but also participate, TESOL adult teachers in the program have to work on motivation from teaching practices that are focused on the interests and real needs of the students, but of course, always considering their different identities. Not only that of the students, but the teachers' identities too. Sometimes it is essential to strengthen the older adult students' identity in the courses, so that the students can be recognized and can discover the new opportunities that he has when learning this new language. Why? Because in this way they can reshape their social existence. Although they are adults, they can still reshape their social existence. And this is one of the most important issues in the program. Many times there are students who are new in a group and they find themselves uncomfortable because of different reasons. Maybe because they don't like one of their classmates, because they don't like the environment itself. I mean, the classroom, sometimes, believe me, it is in this way. And or maybe because they wanted to do something different. However, from my own experience, I may say that it takes just 2 or 3 classes to get students start feeling that they have not only a place of belonging, but also a membership group. And they finish their courses really loving that group and creating relationships, strong bonds, yes? For this reason, I'm trying to be very short, sorry. For this reason, we think in the program, we think that TESOL adult teachers know their students and they are able to develop real teamwork with them. And this happens very frequently because since we have students who are, some of them are professionals, when we present, for instance, in the conversation courses, when we present a topic, many of the students contribute their experience, their knowledge, and enlarge the topic. So this is very important. Also, sometimes depending on the topic, there are classes in which students want to talk about their own experiences, their life experiences, and this is really very important for them. So in this way, teachers not only get exchange of opinions and mutual support, but also they reaffirm intercultural dialogue. And this intercultural dialogue rejects any clash of cultures, at least in this program. The thing is that the program was created, let me say this, the program was created with this purpose. The people who created the program long ago saw that there was a clash of cultures in our country with adult people. So they decided to do this in the program. Not only English is taught, but also many other workshops, which are very interesting. For instance, art, for instance, dancing, whatever. Yes, philosophy, many other workshops. But English is one of the most important. So we think, going back to TESOL teachers, we think that teachers are already positioned as mediators, in this case, between the new language and its culture, and their students' own culture. In all these long 30 years of a program, we see that this program has given place to an interesting intercultural dialogue that is never forgotten by the members of a group, and that extends more than further than the classroom itself. So this is all that I wanted to say about a program that I really love and that I have, for which I have been working for longer than 25 years. And I think that not much has been said about it. That's why I tried to say something about this, because I think that we have to let people know that we can do something different with older adults, especially today that we have older adults in our classrooms who are over 70 and sometimes over 80. And let me tell you just an anecdote. I have a student who is 93 years old. At the moment, she's traveling in Europe. She's one of the best students in English, and you can't imagine how well she can handle technology. I don't know who taught her or if it was just autonomous learning. I don't know, but she's a perfect student and she's 93. So in this way, we teachers feel we are helping adults in doing something which can help reshape, as I told you before, their social existence. Well, let me finish this presentation, which was short, with Kierkegaard. I love really what I can't pronounce his last name very well, sorry. He said, love can only be understood backwards. In the meantime, it must be lived forwards. And this applies totally well for this program of older adults. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anna. That was very, very inspiring and definitely something that we need to take into consideration and think about, right? Our audience, who are we teaching, right? And you have mentioned several things that we need to consider. What is the purpose? What is the intention? What is the background of our learners? And this is true for adult learners as well. So thank you for highlighting this and emphasizing the importance.
Thank you. Thank you, grazie.
So thank you everybody for your patience, your flexibility, and thank you for the great comments in the chat and some of the questions that I have. We're now going to ask the panelists some of these questions. I'm going to ask the panelists to please open their cameras so we can see them and that they can respond your questions. Let me bring them to the, okay. So for Clara, what are the steps or what is the process to establish these research seedbeds that you shared with us? And how do you believe this could be replicated in other countries?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. So it depends, each institution is very autonomous in working on this. So, for example, it can be, I mean, there is like a call for proposals, let's say, and students hand in some documents. Then the university checks if the person meets the requirements. And then if the person has a kind of research proposal that is according to the macro project, let's say, that is led by teachers, it is checked, it is acceptable. It's also necessary in some institutions to see the GPA, right, and to be accepted. And how this can be like transferred to other countries? Well, this movement here in Colombia started in the 90s, right? So maybe in other institutions there are movements like kind of this. However, they have another name or something like that. But my invitation is, if you are professors at universities and you are teaching this kind of students, so go for it. And we can even work together to see how we can engage more students to be part of this beautiful research seedbeds. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer. And definitely, I think many people are going to be reaching to you, Clara, so that we can find ways of replicating this. I like, as I mentioned when you finish your presentation, research is a much needed thing to boost in our region. So we definitely would like to see that replicate in other countries. So for Juanita, given the enriching environment in your classroom, what have been the biggest challenges when teaching English that you have faced? And how have you overcome them?
My God, 0. Okay, every day is a big challenge teaching into a multicultural classroom, but I think it is when I received students from ethnic group For example, from Panama, I had a group from Unayala groups, and it was so difficult for them to understand English because it was difficult for them to understand Spanish. And also we have another ethnic group here in Honduras that are Mosquitoes, and they are almost always trying to connect English and their own language, but it is to maintain the harmony between all the cultural aspects that every student represents in the classroom. And also another challenge could be that the fact that I'm teaching English, and in some countries the same word has another name. For example, we are talking about agriculture, and I'm talking about one vegetable in in several countries, so depending on the region, the same vegetable has another name. And this is more than a challenge, it's like more than a learning and a very interesting situation, because students so take advantage of this situation to ask, hey, how are you eating that? Or why do you have this name? And they have a kind of discussion where they are learning and representing their own culture. This is something that I would like to say, but I want to say that this is a very, very enjoyable setting, have the diversity students in the classroom, and something very more important that I take from this is that I am learning, and through this learning from each student, I have the opportunity to prepare other classes with other students and talk about the different topics, talking about the cultural issues, because the major in our university is agriculture.
Thank you, Juanita, for that. I think, yeah, what you say, that's the value of your classroom, is the fact that you have students from different countries in Latin America, and each of them, they bring their traditions, their customs, their culture, and it's a win-win situation because they learn from you and you also get to learn from them. Thank you for your response. Now, for Gabriela, how is the experience of working with students with disabilities in Peru and in the US? How is this different?
Hello, everybody. In Peru, it's like we are not ready. Even the infrastructure, the classroom don't have the facilities for the students. I remember that even me, when I have to use a wheelchair in the university where I work, there weren't any ramps, you call ramps, where you can pull, okay? There were so many schools are not prepared, okay? And the students feel like a little strange. They are like the widows because the other students don't get to them, okay? Here is a little bit different because they are very clearly try to be included in everything. And the teachers, since the very beginning of the classes, they set the rules, okay? And they don't set rules. The students tell the rules. The students say, okay, don't leave anybody behind. If you see someone alone, the little kids, I'm talking, this is incredible for me because they know the rules. And they say, if one is left behind, go with them. We don't have to have like a difference with anyone because we are all the same. It's really different. And the material that they have, especially with these iPads, the program that they have for the kids, the visual aids, the motivation that is the school is totally decorated. Most of the schools here are very well decorated with messages. We are all the same, we are valuable, our identity counts, we are value for who we are. There are so many messages that we really need to follow like as example. Okay, but in both contexts, in Peru and here in the States, we are learning to deal with this because in the past in Peru, some students who have some learning disabilities, they didn't attend the schools because of their parents. but now more and more students are coming to classes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gabriela, for that. Yeah, it's interesting to see the level of awareness, right, in the different countries that we are in terms of teaching students with living with disabilities. For Anna, final question. Based on your experience with adult and older learners in English language teaching, what would be your recommendation to ensure that these types of programs are effective and successful?
Well, I was told that this kind of program is not very common in many countries. So my recommendation, since life seems to be to have been prolonged, yes, to be longer than expected, my recommendation is to start thinking about older adults because they really need something to think about. And this is not only something that they are going to learn, as in the case of English, because they choose what they want to learn, but also a space that they can have and they can count on whenever they get related to someone else. So I think this is a very special program that not only in the University of Buenos Aires this runs, but also in many other national universities in Argentina. But as far as I know, many colleagues from other countries told me that they didn't know about this kind of programs. And now, since, as I told you before, we have to think in a near future of older adults. And that me, myself, I'm an older adult. So we have to think about that and to think how we can manage so as to create that kind of possibility for older adults, because they are possibilities and they are really very important. So far we have I was a teacher who started working with adolescents, but as soon as I knew this program, it was I was very young actually when I knew this program. It was really at the very beginning of the program. Really, I have to confess that I fell in love with this program because I saw how much I could learn and how much, although I was very young compared to my students, I could give also. So it was very, very interesting, and how much especially we have to do in the future, and we have to do from then on. And many things, I have to tell you the truth, many things were already done in this context. And well, I hope that it can continue everywhere. So this is my recommendation, to start thinking about the older adults, not as an adult who has to be in a nursing home or just at home knitting or doing whatever, you know, especially women who don't like to cook at present, even they don't like to cook or knit or whatever. No, just to think about adults as professionals, as people who want to do something with their brains, yes? And not the ordinary things we do at home or whatever.
Definitely.
This is my personal, yes.
Yes, I definitely agree, Anna. Thinking of them as productive members of society that still have a lot to give and a lot to learn. So
sure.
It is definitely important. So I would like to ask the participants to please use your reaction buttons and the chat to give our panelists a big thank you for volunteering their time and for giving us the space to share about their experiences and the work that they have been doing in multiculturalism and research. Don't miss the final upcoming Hispanic Heritage Month webinar sponsored by HELTA on October 15, along with TESOL International Association. It's going to be titled Social Responsibility and Challenges in Latin America at 4 p.m. Eastern. TESOL will also be hosting a webinar the last week of October for Indigenous Language Month. Watch your email and TESOL social media channels for more information about that webinar. And finally, I hope to see you in person and online at TESOL 22 Convention in Pittsburgh on March 22 to 25th. This convention will be a hybrid event with in-person sessions and virtual sessions. Registration will open November the 1st. Juliet will put the link for you to learn more in the chat, so make sure that you go and explore. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank the panelists for being here today. Thank you for your time, and we will see you in the last webinar next week. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, grazie.